Good afternoon, everyone. Today we start chapter number 4 here. In the chapter number 4, there is a two part. First is steering system and second is braking system. For this the steering system, we using this different type of the steering systems and how it is work, what is the principle behind of that we discuss here. And then the part 2 is your braking system. So how does it work to control any kind of the vehicle with the help of some the different principles and then mechanism we discuss one by one. So basically for the chapter number 4 is here the control system is shown as here. The control system is nothing but that how to control the vehicle with the help of some the different parts. So we know about that the steering system is important to steer this vehicle, to give the directions for the different vehicles for that. And then braking system is to control the vehicles when it is the control with the help of some power and the speeds. So we discuss here today's lecture is the steering systems, and this steering system is as per as the given is into them. This CO based is here to apply the knowledge in this motion parameters of the vehicles to reduce the traction and the power requirement to solve this the performance based on the numerical probability acquired, and then analyzes braking force and stopping distance for their the different requirements. And for that this and this we are to using that the different conditions for the principle of the braking systems. Then we started here this the chapter number 4 is the as per as the given PPTs. First of all that the chapter number 4 control system, second is nothing but the steering and braking system. So first of all that when we using the chapter number 4 control system is here the steering and braking. The steering is nothing but that, or the suspension is nothing integrated the axle the vehicles, and the rear wheel drives has been drive with the power that rear wheels versus the front wheel all the drive trends. The last dead axle is one of the that is not connected to drive trends, or the steering is not only weight bearing. The next is here the steering systems. When we think about that the steering to how to car steering works. So first of all that the front axle is given into them some these the mechanism are used to steer the vehicle or to control the vehicle to whatever we want in the direction of that for the rear or the front or the left or the right. And when we with the help of the control the vehicle for the same for the different directions. The next is here the transmit the road wheels is slightly steering with the pull caused by the road surfaces and the driver hand. So when we control the vehicle with the help of some different type of these requirements, this in this to avoid the accidents or the avoid the control the speeds. So when we control the speeds, we avoiding the accidents with the help of the steerings. The next is here the maintain the correct amount of the turn the vehicles into this. So it is helpful for to maintain these the correct amount of the effort to needed the turn the wheels. Next is here the absorb the most of their the shocks and their powers to going into the with the help of some bump and road. Then allow for the suspension action and the braking systems. Then for the steering systems, the turning the cars is here when the turning the car in front wheel don't point on the same direction. So there is image is shown as here some the mechanism behind of the steering systems. Though so there is an image for that is turn around for there this the right to your side and my side also for our screen. So when they move from the right side, there is the some changes in the angle of that the wheel at different angle, and then when is the different angle is correspondingly reference with the help of the center of the turning circle, and this turning circle is helpful for the moving this vehicle from this wheel to this wheel and this wheel to this wheel, and that creates some angle here. So there is some description in front of that given the vehicle is here. Inside the wheel turns from smaller radius, hence the inside wheels turns at the steeper angle that the outside wheels is here. So linkage steering system is your worm gear, and this worm gear is connected to this. This image is shown as in front of that. This worm gear is recirculating the ball gearbox shown as here. This recirculating ball gearbox shown as with the help of some tie rod, crank rod, pitman arm, and then tie rod. So there is a both side of there. There is the axle or the rear wheel. Front axle is here. For the front axle, the two side of there, the wheel. Use the tie rod. This tie rod we can apply for that moving the vehicle from right direction or the left direction. The track rod is collecting rod to this tie rod is here. This track rod is moving for the supporting, and the pitman arm is connected that this the stay circulating motion is come in the form of the linear motions with the help of some pitman arm. So these after that the pitman or the schematic diagram, some linkages mechanism is here for that this rear one. So there is shown as some linkage arm system is here. This first the steering wheel is used by the driver to rotate a steering shaft that passes through the steering columns, and next is here the steering shaft. The transfer turning motion from the rear wheel to this steering gearbox. So that's why the rear gear wheels to the steering gearbox with the help of some using this system is here. Next is a steering column to support the vehicle, support the steering columns and steering shaft. So is the second image shown as some the steering column and shaft. So we can control that, and steering wheel used to do driver to rotate in which direction we want to move this vehicle. So this is image is shown as here, the column, then shaft, and then the wheel. Next is here this the linkage steering system for the worm gear. This first is nothing but that the changing the turning motions into the straight line motion to this left to the right. So when we with the help of that this the image is shown as in front of that this steering shaft is upper side of your this, the left side of there is the blue color image is shown as here. Some steering shaft is connected to the worm gear, and this steering shaft when is connected to worm gear also is interlocked with the help of some the sector gear, and this sector gear is also is connected to the pitman arm with the help of some the link or the screw and nut, and this motion of there the sector gear is connected to this the ball and nut rack, and when this ball and nut rack is worm gear is applied on there, when the circulating ball bearing is also applied with the help of some this ball and nut rank, and when we apply that this ball nut rungs it will be helpful for to motion of the gearbox, steering gearbox. The steering gearbox is changes the turning motion into the straight line motions from to left or right or this right to the left, and that gearing box is helpful for there. This is the 15 as to 1 to this 24 as to 1 with the worm gear turns this 15 times to this sectoral term code. So with the help of that we can using the steering linkage is connect this steering gearbox to this steering knuckles to this wheel here. The image is shown as in front of that these are two into the axle there is a two wheels here, and this two wheel is connected to this outer tie rod end, and the outer right tie rod end is connected to this tie rod, the inner circuit assemblies. This inner circuit assemblies is connected to the bellow. This bellow is acts as some whatever with that this the opinion, and this pinion gear is applied on the rack. This connect this the threads when of this with the help of some bellows we moving this left to right or the right to the left. Again some another images I like to show here. This is a nothing but that the steering shaft. This steering shaft is connected to this the pinion. This pinion is connected to the rack, this horizontal shaft with some threaded or the teeth of the rack is connected to them with the help of some motion of there with the help of spindle tie rod or the steering arms. So the pinion gear is rotated by the steering wheels, and the steering shaft its teeth mesh with the teeth on the rack. The rack or is a long steel rod is with teeth along on one section side away as the pinion turn gear. The basic rack and pinion steering is used to gear housings to hold them, and these holding positions we can apply for that any kind of this gearing housing. The next is here the tie rod. This tie rod is connected to this rack with steering knuckles. When it is connected to the stack with steering knuckles, is helpful for to increase the motion easily. Next is fluid line rotary valve steering column to reservoir from the pumps. When this pump is connected to this here, this from the steering rotor with this pump. The rack and pinion we can apply with the help of some moving the motion is here. So the basic rack and pinion steering, when the steering in motion with the help of some fluid, this fluid is come from there the pumps is attack on that, and this is come into this for the cooling purpose and motion purpose with the help of some rack and pinion motion of that. So it is a steering system basic information. So these are two types of fluids. One is from two fluid ports is here, one from each sides. This will be helpful for that. Then another linkage is in front of you is nothing but that same is here, the circulating part. This circulating part is helpful for the pitman arm, and this pitman arm is here transfer the gearbox motion to this the steering linkage. This is the important part is here. This is nothing but the pitman arm. This pitman arm is connected to this transfer the gearbox motion to this steering linkage. This pitman arm is splined to this gearbox, this which is helpful for the transfer the motions. The central relay rod, center ring or the relay rod is steer bar connect to this right and left side of the steering linkage, and this steering linkage is shown as in front of you is helpful to connect the right and left side steering linkage. It's connected to the pitman arm to rod and idler arm is here. Then idler arm, this idler arm is support the end of the center links on that the passenger side of the vehicle, and this is helpful for to bolt to this vehicle, and this bolt of the vehicle we can useful for this the different kind of that. Its worms it will be caused by the excessive steering plane. So this excessive steering plane is tie rod is assembled to tie rod assemblies are used to fasten the center link to the steering knuckles, and this steering knuckles is red type of this here is connected to this axle, which is helpful for this central this steering knuckle in the faster. Assemblies consist in inner tie rod end and outer tie rod end, and is a tie adjustment sleeves, and this tie adjustment sleeves is be sure to check the setting after this replacing the tie rod. The another part is rack and pinion. This rack and pinion is outer tight rod is similar to this angular tie rod end, but the inner tie rod and then sit inside this rack and pinion assemblies. So this rack and pinion cinema series we can apply for that the power steering. This power steering is normally used in the engine drive pumps as hydraulic systems to assist the steering action. Is first of all that three major types of the power systems: integral piston linkage systems, then external power steering systems, and rack and pinion systems. The integral power pistons we can apply for that, and external power piston also applied for that. So integral rack and pinion system is most commonly used into the steering system. The power steering system is driven by the engine pistons, the hydraulic pressure for steering system operations. So images in front of you shown as here these four basic pumps is here. These roller pumps, vane pumps, sleeper pumps, and gear pumps. So this the roller pump is here. This roller pump is helpful for supply the fluid into them. The vane pump is control this whatever the fluid is come from that. The slippery pumps used for the lubrications, and gear pump for the steering gearbox. Then steering wheel play is most common problems. Should be unable to turn wheel around that is 35 mm without causing the movement of the wheels is 1 by 1.5 inch. Whatever is that 33 mm is causing to movement of the front wheel. So this part shown as above is the illustrated here. This tie and rod and closest to this vehicle center is adjustment sleeve is helpful for there is the movement, and this movement wheel side to side should be have to no play hard steering, and then this for the hard steering acquire excessive turning efforts, this low power steering fluid and fluid belt broken, broken or slipping or broken or the slipping, and steering system noise is also high. So belt sequel is loud screening and sound producing by one belt. This one belt also the power steering noise is usually loud whine that only occurs when the steering wheels is turned. The low fluid level and air in the system is applied to the check the fluid on there, the engine is on or off. That's why the total information about the basic information about the steering system to helpful for this some how to work on that, and then it is helpful for that how it is starting this control the vehicles from their systems. So it's all about that some introductory parts about their the steering system. So the needs and the function requirements this will today be clear here. So from there these the automotive mechanisms, and from the next lecture we discuss about that the type of the steering gearbox, the condition of this true rolling and steering geometries, camber, caster, whatever these kingpin inclinations, include angles we today we discuss in the next lecture. Okay, any kind of help please comment on there the videos, and also please mention on that the comments into this. I will clear all this data for your understanding. Okay, thank you.